Yeah, I want to thank Anthony for his time here in Vancouver. I really like him as a person and a player, and with the competition we have here, we can provide him with the ice time that I believe he deserved to be a top 9 player in the league that he's shown over the years. So with the internal competition down in Abbotsford and the way the roster is conducted right now, I felt there was an opportunity for him to move on, to get his game back to where it belongs.
In terms of the cap flexibility, that's something that's been hard to create over the last year and a bit here. So was it a case of jumping at that opportunity when you got it from that perspective?
I wouldn't say jump on it. I think we're always looking for ways to improve our team, and when things like this came across, we talked and we felt there was a good opportunity for Anthony to move forward and for us to get some flexibility.
How much does it help to have that space now to do something else if it comes along?
Yeah, and you've seen how the league is, and we'll definitely take a look and see what's our option are, and if there is anything that makes sense to improve our group. But again, we're fortunate to have Abbotsford down the road, and they're playing really well, and a lot of players have been taking steps down there.
How much did the play of guys like Hoglander, Garland, all the guys he was in competition with, how much did that influence?
Obviously, it definitely played in here. Again, I think he deserves more ice time, and he's a good player. And Hoglander, De Giuseppe, Garland, Joshua, all those guys have been playing pretty well. That being said, we want to have the competition.
How quickly did that trade come together? Obviously, we know Chicago ended up with space on their roster just yesterday.
Yeah, I think you're always talking to teams and see what's available and what teams are looking for and where our needs are. So sometimes it takes longer and sometimes it goes quicker.
How encouraged have you been by some of the performances in Abbotsford you touched on? You've got Linus Karlsson up now. Arshdeep Bains has had a good start to the year as well.
Yeah, a lot of credit to the coaching staff, Jeremy Colleton and his group down there. The Twins are down there working with the players. I think we're aligned here with how we want to play and what's needed from the players in order to come up here and have success. So Rick Tocchet and his group has implemented a system up here. Then Jeremy and his staff are playing the same way down there.
Patrik, how much are you monitoring Ethan Barrett's situation, and are you in contact with his representative?
I've been in contact with Ethan's agent since last year, and we check in frequently. Ethan is a UFA, and I'm sure he will reach out to us and other teams when he's getting closer to be ready.
Do you have any idea of a timeline of when that might be?
I don't really know. I think that's something up to Ethan and his agent that he's working to.
Sorry, go ahead. Just on the Beauvillier role, I mean, the fact that you now have guys who look like they're ready to take on that role, I imagine that helped play a role in making the decision.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
We haven't talked to you sort of since the start of the season. What do you make of a franchise record start? What do you like from the group? And are there things you still look at needing improving going forward?
Yeah, I think we, well, to answer your last question first, we're always looking to get better. And I think that's what I really like with the coaching staff here, that their mindset is how to get better next day. That's the only thing they can control. After games, you review how do we practice in the next days, how do we attack the players to get better. And I think that's what I've been most pleased with, the process from day one to where we are now. And as Toc said, we haven't really done anything yet. We're still working to get better, and that's the mindset we have here with the coaching staff and the players.
In terms of getting better, if there was a piece you could add without naming names, like what type of piece would it be?
Well, there's a lot of pieces out there, but again, I think we owe it to the players internally here to put them in that position to succeed. And we all know that we have some injuries, on the back end and Pew Suter up top. So we're looking at ways to see where can we strengthen our team.
Do you have an update on Suter's timeline?
I don't. It was, as Rick said, it was a little bit of a setback here, and injuries like that seems to take a little bit longer than you want. So I would say week to week.
How about Mikheyev after he left the game?
He was good. I believe he's out there practicing today.
Patrick, you have said in the past, and in fact you just said you guys haven't accomplished anything yet. You're 23 games in, and you had the line about no banners in the building. It is a process, obviously, for a team that hasn't been to the playoffs for a few years. That said, you've got one of the best records in the league. You've got some of the best players in the league. Does it change your mind at all about what's possible for this group?
I think we know what they're capable of. And again, I think the consistency of playing up to your capability every night, that's something that the coaches need to challenge the players on. We want to be a consistent team. We want to play to your staples every night. And when you do, you have a chance to win hockey games. And I think that's the biggest challenge for this group, to understand how you play every night and not every second day. And I think that's what I like with the process that the coaching staff have, and coming in here to work on things every single day. So, credit to the players and the coaching staff so far.
As an organization, you guys made the decision to put a C on Quinn Hughes, and obviously he has handled that part of it. Clearly has leveled up his game too. Like, did you know that he had that next step in him, or have you been a little surprised to just how good he's been for you?
I think we saw it last year when Rick and Adam and Sergei came in here, how they were able to help Quinn to take his game to the next level. And I still think that he has another way to get to too. The preparation and his details has been really impressive, and I think that's paying off. But I've been amazed with how he played up to this point. But I'm sure he can get to another level too.
The staff is obviously trying different things on defense with Susi out, and we see that Matt Irwin is up here today. Are you surprised that the team seems to have missed Susi as much? Not that he's not a good NHL player, but one third pairing defenseman. Did you think that the team would be able to absorb that maybe a little easier than it has on the back end?
Well, I think it's two-part there. I think, Brisebois got injured right away too. So we're not just missing Carson Susi, and obviously Susi played really well for us. That being said, this again gives us a chance to test the depth of our organization.
Do you think you need another defenseman?
Do I think we need another defenseman? I think we can get help on the back end, yes.
Do you have an update on Brisebois and his timeline?
I don't. Those type of injuries seems to take longer, and we've got to be a little bit cautious there too, but he's making progress.
And there's the old cliche about sometimes the best trade is the one you don't make, and I don't know if you ever got close to trading Brock Boeser, but he's an entirely different player this season. And how happy are you for him, and how happy are you that he's still part of this group?
I'm very happy with Brock's performance, and I think everything started last spring when we sat down after the season, and how he expressed that he wanted to be a part of this franchise moving forward, and what he was committed to changes in his off-season training. And I'm happy to see that he's pushing himself every day to get better.
Talk ahead of schedule in your mind as far as building culture. I mean, he seems to have established that right from the start of this season, and I thought maybe it might take a little longer. Is this happening? Is the success coming faster than you expected?
I think part of it was when we went through our options last year and what kind of coach we wanted to have, and the timing of it was to give Rick and his staff a chance to come in early and assess the players, and starting to implement how we want to play and how we want to practice. And I think that's the strength of the coaching staff here, that they're never satisfied. They just want to get better, and they're learning. And I think the biggest thing here is building the trust and the partnership with the players, so the players understand that the coaches are here to help them get better. And playing the right way is demanding, and the coaching staff is demanding a lot from the players.
You've mentioned accountability since you came to the organization. Do you like how Tocchet has, at least publicly, kept them accountable with some of the things he said when the team hasn't performed well?
Well, I think that the action speaks more of it. I think he's able to manage the bench and manage the players, hold the players accountable in practice and games, and I think that speaks highly of him as a coach.
Changing your coach in mid-season doesn't always mean you have the greatest selection of candidates. You, in hindsight, must feel pretty fortunate that Rick was the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we going through the process that I did, I felt that Rick was the best fit how we wanted to play and where we were as an organization moving forward. So I think Rick, Adam, and Sergei has been a great addition to Vancouver Canucks.
When you say process, you mean like evaluating what your team needed, what in terms of
Yeah,
guidance?
and how we wanted to play correctly.
As an organization, you guys talked about freeing up cap space for a couple of years now. Like from the day Jim got here, that was one of the things you talked about. You finally have. Does the performance of the team allow you to be patient with it? Or do you have to be careful with not getting, like, it's like money in the pocket, like burning a hole?
Well, we still are in LTIR, so we're not securing any cap space here. We have what we have, and operating in LTIR, it's tough. So that being said, this gives us a little bit of a flexibility to see where we can strengthen our current roster.
We have asked you repeatedly about Elias Pettersson. There's another guy that's playing for a contract on defense who, and maybe this is a good problem to have. Philip Hronek obviously has had a terrific start. We talked about Quinn earlier, but what do you make of him? Is that the player that you hoped you got when you made the trade?
Yeah, I think going back, identifying for us to strengthen the right side, our scouts and our analytic department put their time and job in there, and watching Philip over the years and his progress here, I'm very pleased to see the interaction with Adam Foote and Sergei Gonchar here has helped him taking his game to another level, and he fits really well in here with our group. And I'm very, very pleased with how him and Quinn has been handling the minutes and how competitive he is, and that he can play a 200-foot game.
When you looked at him as a potential Canuck, you mentioned analytics, you mentioned scouting. What in particular told you that this guy was going to be a good fit, let alone this remarkable fit?
Yeah, just the way he plays and how he carries himself, and the fact that he stays away from the media too seems to be a mystery there. So, but he's been a great addition here and fitting into the leadership group really well, and how he's interacting with the coaching staff and the players. I've been impressed with that.
The fit with Quinn, I mean, they're both puck handlers. I mean, is that something, I mean, you didn't necessarily instinctually say they need to go together. You might want to split them up. But.
Yeah, I think that's more of a question for the coaches, how they want to run the bench there. But this gives us more flexibility once we're healthy to mix things up. And depending on who you play against, you can have different matchups there.
You mentioned pro scouting and analytics and that acquisition. Like, you guys haven't missed on a lot of these acquisitions. Like Sam Lafferty fits, Blucher, Suter. Like, who deserves, where does the credit go for having so many hits on the pro scouting side, and how much is it analytics?
Well, I think this is a combination of trusting your staff and holding your staff accountable. But in the end of the day, it's credit to the players, how they fit in here, the coaches, how they're dealing with the players. And my view of it is you got to put every player in a position to succeed. That's my job and the coach's job to do. And the same thing goes with the players in Abbotsford. We want to prepare them so they can come up here and succeed, not just one game, hundreds of games.
I guess part of that is recognizing what a player's good at and knowing what that position that will allow him to succeed will be, and that doesn't always happen. No,
you're right, and I think that's where the partnership and the trust between the coaches and the players, that we're going to help them to be put in a position to succeed, and there might be some growing pain for some of them, but eventually, hopefully, they will get there and they will contribute to the team's success.
But that's also on you guys, your staff, finding players that are going to fit what's going on.
Yeah, I think it's easier here now when we have implemented a system how we want to play, and it's easier to put players in that system to be successful and not put players in to fail. But again, saying that, we haven't really accomplished anything here. We've got a lot of talented and good players, but we're going to continue to thrive to get better and continue to push the players to get to the next level.
What about these players? Sorry, Jeff. A lot of these players were asking you about. Initially, there was, I don't know if you noticed this, some criticism with some of the acquisitions that you made. Do you feel vindicated or satisfied as a GM that you've, right now it seems to be proving correct, the guys that you've added?
I don't know about what was the
Roenick deal? A lot of people thought.
Okay, yeah. You know what?
Spending in free agency for where the team was.
Again, I'm trying to control what I can control here, and that's to make the team better and provide players to the coaching staff to play the right way, play to our staples, play to the standard, and also build around the young core players that we have here. I think those guys have helped all the young players to settle in here, appreciate Vancouver as a city, appreciate the organization, and the support I have from ownership since I got in there has been very impressive and very thankful for it.
Is there any update on PD or Hronek? Like, have you had any talks since we've last talked to you about either of those guys and their agents?
No updates. Yes, I talked to their agents, but I haven't. No updates there.
Practice run? Anything new?
That's something I know that Jim and Michael Doyle and the ownership are working on.